Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So you guys probably know by now that I am super pumped and hyped for Fallout 76. Played a lot of the beta, played with my friends. It was a ton of fun, and guys, I have an itch for Fallout 76 and I can't get rid of it. I need it to come. I am sitting here thinking like, what can I do to make time go by faster, because I just want to play Fallout 76. Well, some really cool news came out of Twitter that's making this even harder, and it was this letter where Bethesda is basically like thanking the fans and talking about the game and the beta program and just like how they're excited for it as well. And there is one paragraph in this letter that is really important and really awesome to think about. So it says, "And a special thank you to all of our fans who participated in the beta. With your help, we've made the game better each week, and this is just the beginning. We have an incredible list of updates we've begun working on, from camp building improvements, new quests and events, new vaults opening, character respeccing, and a faction-based PvP system, and much more." Now, this is really exciting because there's some really cool things in this letter that I personally am looking forward to, and some things that they mentioned before, such as increasing the stash size. I have been talking with my friends about this, and we are just so annoyed with how little space you have in your stash. And they say like, oh, as you go along and you get like higher level, it'll get easier to work with. No, it does not get easier to work with. It is horrible. They need to increase it ASAP. If they don't, they're gonna lose players, because it is just like you're just throwing away good loot. And like they made a whole generation of hoarders from their previous game, and so really they need to like increase that. But that's not what I want to talk about in today's video. What I want to talk about is this last phrase here in this last paragraph in this letter. So the first thing they talk about is, like the list of updates they have, and that the first thing is camp improvements, which I don't know what those are going to be, but like any camp improvements are good, because like the more variety, the more like streamlined the process, the better, because like the whole menu and system is just so wonky and hard to work with and kind of annoying. And then not only that, but new quests and events, which are great because there wasn't enough variety. The events are awesome. They're a ton of fun to participate in, but there needs to be more variety, like a lot of different events, not just like 10, but like a lot. So that way they rotate and you never see the same thing. Like maybe you see the same thing once every 2 days or something like that, just to give like more variety, and that will help like with replayability and keep people going. And then new quests, obviously new quests are better and good to have. New vaults opening. So there are vaults around the map, or I don't know how many there are, but like new vaults. I don't know if those are the vaults that have already been found being able to open up, or new vaults opening as well, like more vaults being able to be found. I'm all for like secret stuff, secret bunkers, hard to find vaults like that. I'm such a fan of things like that. And the map is massive, so they can have so many, like they can be anywhere. So the other thing is character respecking, which a lot of people talked about, being able to respec your character. That's a huge thing. I know a lot of people want to have that. It's not something that people want to go through over and over again. And, along with that, like having the ability to change your character and also increase your stash size, because like we were talking, some friends and I were talking about like the only real workaround is having like a mule character, which is like really annoying to deal with, or just like constantly moving your base. But like, who wants to move their camp around? That's so annoying. And then the other thing is obviously a faction-based PvP system, and this is probably the biggest thing for me, being a part of a faction and being able to like do faction-based things, like quests or events or PvP, like arena type of stuff. Like the PvP system in the game definitely needs some work, but adding like a different layer on to that could be really enjoyable. And so having a faction-based PvP, like that just makes you feel like a part of something, you know what I mean? And so having that is a real nice, obvious like benefit to the game, like being able to be a part of something. And I think it would be really cool to have a faction-based like area. And so like obviously can't be part of the whole map as what it is already, but like having a faction-based area set aside, like off into like a corner or something like that, and you can add to the camp, like the faction-based camp. There could be different like things like depositing, or things you're able to like get from like those containers where you can like get something out of them for like putting something in, or like adding to the defenses or something like that. It could be a really cool thing, or maybe not adding to the defenses, because that could be like you can get kind of overburdened, but then being able to go and attack those bases or something. I just see like there's a lot of area for improvement in the game, and like addition to the game that could keep people interested and keep people going. I think that there are a lot of things that are working against the game already, and they need to fix those. But like adding things like this could really make a major improvement. So like having a free DLC that is just like a fun addition is something that I think a lot of people are going to like. I'm curious to know your thoughts on these things, what you think about this, some ideas that you have that could really improve the game. Did you play the beta? Are you going to be playing the main game? And if so, feel free to add me in the game. I'm going to be playing it a ton, and I'm super excited for it. So another thing that we were talking about, some friends and I, were the Nuke Codes. Now, if you don't know, in the game you can find different codes to specific silos, and there's a bunch of silos around and a bunch of codes you need to get, and essentially you can get the codes, unlock the silo, and like launch a nuke and change the world. Like it's pretty awesome. And if that happens, there's like rare loot and mutations and stuff that can be found in those areas, so it's like kind of hazardous, but it's well worth it. So we were talking about like if it's balanced. It seems like the problem is that the people who play, I guess it's really rewarding for people who play the game a lot, but like it's not easy to find these codes, and then you have to find the silo, and so it's really interesting, and it could change the game if they tweak it a little bit. And I wonder how often it's going to happen to where people are going to be able to find the codes that they need and like to unlock the silos and stuff. It is a pretty interesting concept to a game, the fact that you can drastically change the game. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on balance of the Nuke Codes, and if they should tweak that at all. And I just don't know. And then also, like, there are certain things, I think, like, there are the monsters in the game. They need to add different monsters, more monsters. They need to add more things to the game, because it's not, after you play the game for a while, it's not like a surprise to find sloths laying around the forest area. They're everywhere. The grafted monster, you can go to a specific spot and find the grafted monster. Scorched beasts are everywhere, and they're super annoying to deal with. Obviously they're pretty intense and pretty tough to deal with, and they can easily kill you. But like I just feel like they need to add more variety, and then also like they need to tweak the sloth. The sloth is like super easy to fight. It's not hard at all, and if you have a group of people, it's even easier. And so it's one of those things that I feel they have a good base for the game, but they need to add more variety and maybe make them a little bit more scarce, so that when you do come across, you know what, I don't know about that, making it scarce, because you want to be able to find them and deal with them, because you want to get loot and stuff like that. The Wendigo, I've only found one of those things, and it was stuck in a rock. But like the Mothman, I still have not seen or encountered the Mothman, and so like that's a pretty cool thing that's a little bit more rare. And so I think maybe certain things, like maybe they add more monsters in the game, but they make them more rare, and they maybe add some quests in that are specific to hunting things down. Because there's one where you have to dress in a clown costume and then kill a Wendigo. Like that's pretty cool that there's a specific quest for hunting one of those, and you have to do it in a certain way. And so I think things like that, adding things like that to the game, could be really enjoyable and pretty fun. And so I think having variety and having more I just like more things like that, but more variety, and then tweaking like the rarity of certain things, and like adding, maybe making it more rare, but like if you find it and kill it, you get really rewarded for doing so. So all in all, I think that the proposed updates that they have, like especially the faction-based PvP, because there's so many things that can happen with that, like mini events, large-scale events, like server-wide events, faction bases, those types of things. All those things are really cool, and there's a lot that could happen with that. Camp improvements, you know, I haven't really like got too much into building a camp because it's kind of annoying to deal with, but and like, you know, looting and stuff. There wasn't enough time, and I wanted to explore more than work on my camp. And so like, you know, I think that that's probably a good thing, obviously. But I'm curious to know all your thoughts on these things, what you think of the game, what you think about these proposed updates and changes, and if you think that there's anything else that they should add, and if you have any, I'm like really curious to hear your thoughts and suggestions, because I think some of these things could be really cool and could change the game drastically. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I can't go on anymore, guys. My voice is really painful. I wanted to talk about a few more things, like more about the stash, more about character improvement, and more about like weapons and stuff, but I just can't do it. So I'm gonna call it for the video right here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.